Hey everybody out there in the internet and comic book world, and welcome to another Dark Avenger comic book review. We are a day late because of the fact that this past Saturday was New York Comic Con and myself and Mike went.
Hey
we
guys.
met a nice amount of people, met some really great people, got to talk to a lot of people, had a really good time. Hated the crowd, hated being bumped in the shoulder, stepped on the foot and everything else. But all in all, it was a good time. We had a great time. Look forward to next year, hopefully.
Oh, definitely.
Fingers crossed for next year.
I'm looking forward to it.
I'm glad I finally got the chance to go to New York Comic Con after, what, 4 years of saying I want to go, I want to go.
It was like 2 to 3 years that we wanted to go.
Ever since Dark Avenger started, so about 3 years.
Yeah.
And every year I was like, I'm going to go, and I didn't make it. Finally made it, and we have a new countdown, or a timer using the iPod Touch.
Technology.
Shut your mouth.
What? It's technology.
So met a really great amount of people, really nice people, had a great time, like I said. And now we are here reviewing the comics that were released last Wednesday, October 10th, 2012. We have 46 more episodes to go before 200.
Oh yeah.
And got a nice little signed comic back there this week from Pat Chan. It's Robin Hood #1 from Zenescope. Also came out on the 10th.
And the Punisher action figure, which I did a...
And that's over there. And it's leaning back.
And hopefully on my...
And it's leaning back. I give up.
And hopefully on my DarkAvengerINC site sometime this week I'll do an unboxing video.
You'll upload the unboxing video.
Upload it. Blah.
But, you know, met really great people. Mike will be reviewing Robin Hood #1 for Dark Avenger Inc. sometime this week. Because I mentioned you were going to review it a while back. So he's going to be reviewing that, as well as another book that was given to us that Mike really found very interesting, which is the Chronicles of Mayri #1. So Mike has 2 books that he'll be reviewing. I'm hoping to get my hands on a couple of books. I'm looking forward to Godstorm #1 coming out this Wednesday, which is next episode, Wednesday. So let's get into the books this week. First off, just throwing it out there, Futurama #63 was a fun read. I enjoyed it. If you guys like Futurama, you will definitely enjoy this book.
Yeah.
And this
it's
once
a good
again,
TV series as well.
Absolutely. And this once again was one of those throw-out things, just like Garfield and Popeye was. Yeah. Now we're getting into books that we will discuss. First, we have Transformers Regeneration One #84. Was a really fun read. I enjoyed the artwork. To be honest, it was compared to the other Transformer book, my favorite book of the week from the Transformers. The Wreckers are going after the Ark and Megatron, and then the rest of some Wreckers are trying to save Cup, and the other Wreckers are going after the Ark. The Ark is very heavily protected, though. The whole book is basically, that's the premise of the whole book. And then finally, Optimus Prime shows up at the very end. Bludgeon makes his move on Cybertron, and it's up to Hot Rod to prevent him from getting his armor back. And basically it's left off with Optimus and Megatron facing off with each other. I left a lot out. There's a reason for that. This was a very good book. And the next issue, I have to show the cover. 2 Titans will fight, only one will survive.
That's going to be interesting.
Yes. And it looks like Starscream is showing a little bit of independence, breaking away from Megatron's control. And this book has just been one of my favorite Transformer books out of the full, out of the 3 books that they released for Transformers. Transfusion #1, you can look forward to me reviewing that book on Dark Avenger Inc. this week too. Just had a really off week last week, guys, so as soon as I get the chance, I definitely will be doing that. Also, coming out this month is the Ghostbusters 100 page Spooktacular, as well as the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles annual for 2012, which is going to take a lot of money out of everybody's pocket, but it'll be worth it because I really enjoy the Ghostbusters and I really enjoy
And they had
Turtles.
the real Ghostbusters Omnibus Volume 1 that's also coming out.
Yes, it's coming out in October, it says. The Omnibus Volume 1.
Yeah.
But this is a really good read. I would highly recommend anybody who's a fan of Transformers to definitely check this out. But I would go back a couple of issues, like I said, because this is continuing a story arc. Artwork is a classic artwork. I did not show artwork. I'm so
You did. The last page.
I showed the cover for the next book. I'd like to actually show some actual internal artwork. The book is really great, and I'm enjoying it every month. So I would highly recommend you guys check out Transformers Regeneration One. Transformers Robots in Disguise this week took, this is issue 10, took a different turn. Instead of it being about Bumblebee and everybody on Cybertron, thank God it wasn't, it was about Optimus Prime. And I have to be honest with you, my head hurt after this issue.
With
Why?
Optimus Prime?
It's not because of Optimus Prime, it was because of the premise of this book. This book jumps forward, backwards, frontwards, and upside down in time. So yes, this is a time travel book.
Oh, no,
Optimus Prime lands on a planet that's being affected by not only I want to say his name right, Janksis?
Leroy Jenkins?
Not Leroy Jenkins. I promise you it's not Leroy Jenkins.
Would have been funny though.
Where's the name? I'm going to try to read it and then pronounce it.
Did they have indexes? Or...
No.
Wait.
But it jumps forward and backwards in time. The very beginning of the book shows you how it's going to basically end. And then Optimus Prime is jumping backwards and forwards through time, chasing after Bludgeon and Janksis, or however you pronounce his name. The artwork is really good. It's like a paint effect artwork in this book,
Yeah,
unlike the regular.
Me of Alex Ross, the way when he draws things.
And he's just jumping forward. Oh, here it is. It's Jaix. Yeah, and also you got what was the word I was looking for? What was it called? Monstructor in this book. And it just jumps forward and backwards. It's very confusing. I read this book a couple of times, and you know, if you read it on the fly, you're gonna get lost in this book. But if you read it and you really look into it and you make sure you focus on each and every panel, because each and every panel sometimes is a different spot in time. Optimus Prime basically traveled all over the place, and then he showed up back in the present. However, the present, it's a month. He disappeared a month ago. Now he's back. He was gone for about a month, but for him, he was jumping back and forth from within a matter of a couple of minutes. So he knows something's coming, and he's wondering if it's because of Shockwave or if something even worse is going to be the cause of whatever the bad thing that's going to happen on Cybertron. And that's where they leave you off. It'll probably go back to Bumblebee in the next issue. I love the Optimus Prime, you know, inner, like, little cuts in between story arcs with Bumblebee. This way we get to see what's going on with Optimus. But at the same time, man, this book was really... You really have to focus on each and every panel, and you have to really focus on what's going on, or else you will get lost very, very simply. You'll be like, how did this person show up out of nowhere? And it's just because of the time traveling that happens with Optimus Prime, and he gets the device that does that, but it's already too late. And like I said, he's been gone for a month. And now he's chasing after Jaxus and Bludgeon and trying to figure out what this big chaotic event, if it's their fault, if it's Shockwave's fault, whose fault is it?
That does sound like a lot involved. And really,
it was a good book, though. The artwork was really good. But once again, guys, pay very close attention to each and every panel, because you will get lost like that if you don't.
Yes.
Next, Mike's reviewing this because I've already reviewed it.
Yes.
In a trade paperback form.
Yes, it is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #5.
Color Classics.
Color Classics. This book was very long, in a good way, actually.
I was about to say, what do you mean very long?
In a good way. So you never make me finish.
I did let you finish, and then
anyway,
I said, what did you mean?
We get introduced to a new character in the book.
The Fugitoid!
Yes, and that is... We don't know his name in the beginning until you further on read. His name is Honeycutt. And he helps the Ninja Turtles get out of the carnage that's going on.
You know, I'm glad they're releasing this at the same time they're releasing the regular Turtles, because this is running parallel to what's going on in the Now volume of the Ninja Turtles is a redo of what they're doing here, but they've changed a couple of things.
Yeah. And they're stuck in another dimension.
Dimension X.
Yes. and it's not planet Earth or Manhattan, so to say. So we get into the origin story of Honeycutt. Basically, there was he was one time a scientist, and then he had a device for boosting mind powers like telepath and telekinesis. One day when there was a thunderstorm, the human, his mind got into the robot, and technically he went from man to robot, and the army, or the government army, wants to take him down and terminate it because they think that the robot killed the human. But the robot's in the human, so technically it's a whole thing.
The robot's the human.
Right, and then you get two panels where the headquarters wants to get the Ninja Turtles, and the Triceration base. Like, basically, the left side wants the Ninja Turtles, and the right side wants
the Fugitoid.
The Fugitoid, which is the robot. And they showed this twice, actually, this page. But
they did? Where?
I'll show you in a bit. So there's lots of action that happens, and the people who wanted the robots, I'll call them the dinosaurs because that's what they look like, they capture the robot, and the turtles find a flying device. And I thought that was funny how Donatello is like saying, like, I don't know how to drive these things, but I'll give it a try. And yeah, they wound up falling out of the jet. See again, this page.
Holy crap, it's the exact same page.
Yeah, I was looking, I'm like saying, wait a minute, I had to go back
That's
again.
a printing error.
Yeah. And then Don goes nuts saying, no, I'm not alright, because we're in a world where we don't know where we are, and you know, our friend's in trouble, and...
Well, at least they didn't skip a page.
No, they didn't skip a page, actually. And there were lots of fight scenes, and this page I saw was really amazing. Their world. And at the end, we see the turtles are in a little bit of trouble. They are coughing, and then they are running out of air. And will they survive? Only you know. Or people who read the trade paperback. And that is to be continued. And yeah. I'm really enjoying this, guys. I really wish I could have read it from the beginning. But you have a trade.
What trade? From the beginning?
The one you have. Issues number 1, 2, because I caught up, I think, from last issue.
Oh, so you have to read the first couple. You can get the book. Yeah, you can have the book.
Yeah, I know. But really, guys, the artwork's amazing. Great story. Can't wait to read the next issue, and definitely recommend it, as my brother says. I mean...
It's a good series.
Yeah, if you haven't got 5 issues yet, definitely get it, or get the trade paperback. You will not be sorry. And that's all for this week.
We're in the big 2 now, and there's only 2 books from DC this week. First one is Green Lantern Corps number 13. The Guardians start their plot against Guy Gardner. They're plotting behind the scenes to dishonor Guy Gardner and of course the Third Army is still growing by the day. They give John Stewart a bullshit mission where he's gonna bring, like, they claim Mogo's coming back together. I believe it's a trick, and they're making it one of his missions to bring all the pieces together and to maybe Mogo come back to life. Guy Gardner finds out that what was his name? XR escaped. XR knows about Guy Gardner and who he holds close, so Guy Gardner breaks off of the mission the Guardians set him for and heads to Earth to stop him. And then he and a few other Green Lanterns are actually intercepted by the Third Army. Yeah, that's Hell on Earth. And one of the Green Lanterns actually gets converted into a being of the Third Army, and it's to be continued from there. A lot of stuff I left out in between dialogue and stuff, but I don't know. For some weird reason, this book just... this whole Third Army thing, it's starting to make me... I mean, I understand that Jeff Johns actually said that this was leading into... This wasn't the big event that's going to happen in Green Lantern. This is the event that's going to happen before the huge event. So this is leading into something else, something bigger in the future, which I don't like knowing that now, because now I know this is just really a big event that's setting up an even bigger event, like the way Agent Orange and Rage of the Red Lanterns and everything led into the Blackest Night. This is basically Agent Orange and the Rage of the Red Lanterns put together. This is leading into the huge event that's coming approximately, dare I say, 2013, around now in 2013. So the whole Third Army thing just, yeah, it just, it feels like they're just doing this to lead into something bigger in the future, or it's going to finally be the Green Lanterns versus the Guardians, and who's going to win. In the end, everybody loses, but who's really going to win? So I don't know. Green Lantern Corps is just, in my opinion, the whole Third Army thing is, it's interesting. Let's leave it at that. But knowing that it's leading into something bigger, it's like, my question is, what's the bigger, not really what's going to happen next in the Third Army, because we know the Green Lanterns are going to triumphantly beat the Third Army, or somehow beat the Third Army, and it's going to lead into something huger. And what is the huger? We don't know. Next, Death in the Family starts. This was awesome. Batman issue 13. And if you're saying, Chris, where's the Joker mask? I know the Joker mask is right here where it belongs. I've been buying all the Batman Death in the Family books because of the actual faces that are on the covers.
And plus you did on the live show, actually.
Yes. Before I get into that, I don't believe I showed any artwork from Green Lantern Corps, so I just want to go back to that really quick and give you guys some examples of the artwork. Try to find a good page. I don't want to give you guys the last page, so let's go back a little bit for you. Oh wait, I know. Yeah. Here's some artwork from Green Lantern Corps. I don't know, like I said, guys, Green Lantern Corps, really quick, is like my third favorite Green Lantern book. New Guardians has always been second place, and Green Lantern, up until the Simon Boz thing, which I'm actually giving, a chance. Green Lantern was my first favorite. So, a van pulls up to Gotham City, and I'm not giving that many spoilers away here, guys. I understand we're already in the next week, and we're moving forward. But you guys really should read this book. This was amazing. This was the best book out of DC, in my opinion, this week. And yes, I did get Batgirl 13 as well, so that I would have the... But anyway, Inspector Gordon is at the Gotham City Police Department. I was about to try to abbreviate it and forget it. And then, lo and behold, guess who shows up? The Joker. What does he want? His face back. Batman shows up and he's like, Jim, what's going on? Where's the Joker? And he's like, oh no. And then Batman's kind of like in this denial where he's like, where Alfred actually says, but you had to know he was coming back. You had to know he was going to come back someday. And Bruce is like, yeah, I know, but he was away for so long. It's been a year, because the Court of Owls, as far as we know, happened. It took a year to tell. And he was hoping that maybe he saw the last of Joker, but no, Joker's back. And then we get the whole Bat family. This was an awesome page here, saying, is it true? Is he back? Is it really true? And then Joker goes on live TV and basically gives Batman a message, and it's up to Bruce to figure out the whole mystery thing. It turns out what he thought it wasn't. And then we get to the part where he confronts Joker in his old Red Hood outfit. Or is he? It turns out, I'm going to spoil this much, it wasn't him, it was actually Harley Quinn.
Really?
And if you're questioning, how did Harley Quinn go in the Red Hood outfit, before I continue with this story, the backup story actually explains how Harley Quinn was put into the Red Hood outfit. This was the first backup story I actually read, and I actually liked, because it explained a little bit more on how Harley Quinn actually got involved in this in the first place. And she actually says here to Batman, he's not the same Bats, he's not my Mr. J anymore, and what he's going to do to you, his plan, I can't. And then the last page, you get to see the Joker for the first time, like without being in the shadows, and he's going after somebody, and I'm not telling you guys who. You guys have to find out yourself by buying this book. But the backup story was pretty good as well. It explained the whole dynamic between Harley Quinn and Joker, and it's probably going to reach into Suicide Squad. Probably get the issue with the face, of course. Guys, I can't spoil this book. There are very few books I can't spoil, and this is definitely one of them. You gotta go out. You gotta buy it. It's the Death in the Family is going to be huge for the Batman book. Am I buying all the other Batman books? Absolutely not. And if you guys want to see what it looks like, here's what's going to be on all the books that have the face this month. I personally am not a fan of having all this on all my books when this is what I really wanted, so I took the mask off of the cover. Once again, these are my comics. I really don't plan on ever selling them anyway. These are my collection, and then, God forbid, whenever I pass on, they go to my children, and if they want to sell them, that's fine, but I'm going to enjoy my comics the way I want. So this is the cover I want, so I took off the mask. I'll be doing that on all the Batman books. And will I be getting other copies with the mask still intact?
Oh, whoops.
I don't think so. As I said, as they've all said, including Stan Lee, the collectability factor to any of these comic books nowadays is a 0 because they're abundantly in print. There's millions of copies of each of these books, and you can even get it digitally. So honestly, the value of this book is going to be the cover price. I might have just taken off basically $1.50 from the cover price, but once again, not looking to sell. This is the face I wanted on my cover. Really good. Can't spoil it. We'll talk more about it when issue 14 comes out next month. Really awesome, guys. I'd highly recommend you check out the Batman book from DC Comics this week. And it takes a lot for DC Comics, especially, for me to say something good about their book. So if I'm saying something good about it, you gotta know it's good.
Even Batman itself.
Batman I've always liked. Scott Snyder is an amazing writer.
The 52 ones, like some that you didn't.
They didn't change Batman.
No, like some that you dropped, like Detective.
Yeah, I dropped all the other Batman books, basically, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I meant.
But it's a really good book, Batman. Scott Snyder's awesome. Greg Capullo's artwork is just amazing, especially that last page that I can't show you guys, but trust me, it's worth the $3.99. We're now in Marvel Comics. We have 5 minutes left. I'll get into maybe the first 2 books. Secret Avengers 32 ended, and it ended fairly quickly, and it was all thanks to Venom. And the whole book is basically Venom and Ant-Man fighting the Abyss because Black Widow, spoiler here, does get taken over by the Abyss. So it's up to Venom and Ant-Man to fight Taskmaster, also known as the head of the Abyss, and to get to eliminate the Abyss. And Venom does do it. How does he do it? Flash lets the symbiote leave his body and suffocate Taskmaster. The crown explodes into its 3 pieces, and all is right with the world again. Until we get to the very end of the book. Max Fury goes into Secret Avenger custody, and then Black Widow finally figures it out. They're talking to Ant-Man and like, it's amazing, you didn't get taken over by the Abyss, and then Black Widow actually says, I can solve that mystery. Eric is a life model decoy. Basically, he's a clone. And it's true. Remember, Father, from the story arc before this, they killed that Ant-Man, and this Ant-Man is a life-size replica. Like he's just a stand-in. He's a decoy. And she actually calls the whole thing. She's like, we found Ant-Man's beacon in a large puddle of blood, and when we found Eric, he was uninjured. And he's like, oh, the adaptoid blood, blah 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 blah. No, that's a lie. And she's trying to say, he's a spy for Father, he's gonna cause trouble, and then Venom even says enough. Hawkeye says, Natasha, you're crazy, he's a good guy, just saved the world. And then she actually quits Secret Avengers right here. She's like, you want to ignore this? You want to push this aside? Fine, but I won't be here when it blows up in your face. And she walks off. So Black Widow leaves the Secret Avengers, at least for now. And turns out everybody's happy, the world is all happy and good again, and then we get the first appearance, and I'm spoiling this because I might not be getting the next issue, of the Black Ant, which is basically Father's version of Ant-Man. So basically, Black Widow is telling
Black Ant?
Yeah, the Black Ant. So basically, Black Widow called it, and every single person in the Secret Avengers group said, you're crazy. When it turns out Black Widow was basically spot on, and now it's gonna come back and bite them. Will I get the next issue of Secret Avengers? To be honest, these stories have been starting to really fall like, I don't want to say a flat line, but especially after the way this story arc ended, and especially how Hawkeye's telling, of all people, Black Widow that she's crazy and she's wrong, and it's written on the wall. And for even though the character he doesn't see what's right in front of his face, they made him point blank retarded, like stupid to the whole. He was completely stupid to the whole fact that maybe Black Widow's telling the truth, unless in the next story arc he believed her, and let's say he'll have like this backup plan in case Natasha was right, and that's how he'll save the day. But in this issue, they made the entire Secret Avengers crew except Black Widow stupid, because they believe he's a good guy, and you know, whatever. It's impossible. And then here it is, the last page, Black Ant. Really? Seriously? So Black Widow was right, and now the whole Secret Avengers are gonna pay because they thought she was wrong.
That's
I don't know. If it's a light week, I'll get Secret Avengers 33. If not, I think I'm gonna back off of at least the next story arc, because I have a feeling it's gonna be like, oh my God, Black Widow was telling the truth. No duh, Sherlock. She's Black Widow for a reason. And no offense, but Hawkeye is really not cutting it as a team leader. Ant-Man died. The Abyss took over his brain, and it was up to Venom and decoy Ant-Man to save the day. I don't know. And then the new concept, when they relaunch Secret Avengers, that's completely stupid. So I don't even think I'm going to be getting that. I'll be getting the first issue, but then after that I probably won't. Deadpool 62. Moving forward from where the last issue left off, the agent is still sending people after Deadpool. She wants him dead for what he did to her. And that's basically the whole premise of the issue. She puts them through a holographic hologram simulation of them versus Deadpool. They lost. Deadpool finds Taskmaster. Taskmaster makes it look like he's sorry, you know, he just wants to break even, whatever, you know. It doesn't look like he's going to screw Deadpool over in the end, and then it turns out that's exactly what he was going to do. That's exactly what he did. And he actually sends them right to the agent's back door. She paid Taskmaster to send Deadpool their way, and the next issue is the final issue. Good, I'm glad. Get the story arc over with, please, and let's move on to the Marvel Now Deadpool story, where it's Deadpool versus Zombie Presidents. That sounds a lot better. Zombie Presidents. Tony Moore is doing the artwork in Deadpool #1 in the first story arc, at least. I'm looking forward to the new Deadpool. This issue is pretty okay. If you haven't been picking up Deadpool, hold your money, hold your buying until 2 months from now when Deadpool #1 comes out. You won't be sorry. This was an okay story arc. If you're a Deadpool fan like me, you'll enjoy it. But if you're not a Deadpool fan, you're not a fan of like the way Deadpool is, you won't like this book, to be quite honest. But I like Deadpool. This was a fun read for me, but at the same time, if you haven't been reading Deadpool, don't bother.
And the time's up.
And that's the new alarm. Thank you.
Yep. And now I gotta go back.
Okay, guys, so we'll come back in the next part. We'll finish off this week. As I said, guys, Deadpool 62, I leave it up to you guys. I enjoyed the read, but once again, I just can't wait for this to end so we get into Marvel Now's Deadpool. Maybe that's why I'm hoping the story arc ends. It's really just somebody sending people out to assassinate Deadpool. They're going to fail. Deadpool got his pinky back, by the way. They don't explain how yet, but once again, it's a Deadpool book. And yeah, so that's Deadpool. See you guys in the next part.